Hello, Saving Lichens through Species at Risk Act. Species at Risk Act was a federal act introduced in 2002. The aim of this, as you can see here, is to prevent species from becoming extirpated or extinct, to assist in the recovery, and to encourage conservation. To do this, there are 10 different committees, each of which specialist committees, each of which covers a different group of organisms. These 10 committees present a candidate each year, or a number of candidates, which could be endangered, and then a bid is prepared, a contract's prepared to do some research, develop a report. The report is then reviewed 3 times, and eventually recommendations made by the committee, which is called CSIWIC, Committee on the Status of Endangered Wildlife in Canada. The presentation is made to the Minister that a given organism should be endangered, threatened, special concern, or not at risk. And the Minister can list the organism with downstream consequences. He can delay or not list it. So let me give you an example. This is the boreal felt lichen. It is very pollution sensitive. It's also sensitive to habitat destruction. 21 lichens have been listed or been given a status under CSIWIC. About half of them grow in Nova Scotia. Let's look at the boreal felt lichen. This is where it exists. The green spots are where you can find it now. The black crosses are where it was but is no longer. And so it was declared as endangered in Nova Scotia. And once this has happened, then a recovery strategy has to be prepared. And if it's endangered within 1 year, threatened within 2 years, special concern within 3. So this is what happens after you have the initial report, then you have a recovery strategy, then you have an action plan. That is, what are we going to do to prevent this thing becoming extinct? And to help with this, a recovery team is established, and we now have a lichen recovery team, currently coordinated by the Mersey Tobiatic Research Institute. There are 19 members. I don't expect you to look at all the members, but you'll see that there are people from paper companies, there's people from the province, there's people from Nature Canada, etc., etc. So we have a whole group of people involved. They meet once a year. And the object of the meeting of these committees is to decide on the buffers. That is, how much uncut forest should be left around an occurrence of this particular lichen. And then we also oversee the analysis of data from pre-harvest surveys, which I'll mention in a moment, and then also analysis of data from post-harvest surveys. So you say, okay, we're going to have this protective buffer around an occurrence. We will go back every year and see what's happened to the lichen which is in the middle of this buffer, see if it's still there, if it's dying, or what's happening. Then the recovery team meets again and says, what are we going to do now? So essentially pre-harvest surveys are done on Crown land by consultants with expertise in identifying this particular lichen, and the end result of that is that after discussion at the meeting, is that in Newfoundland, where this lichen is even more abundant, or is much more abundant than in Nova Scotia, they have to leave a 20-meter buffer zone around each occurrence of the lichen. And as you can see here in Nova Scotia, a 100-meter buffer zone has to be left around each occurrence of the lichen. And if the lichen is growing in a wetland, not only you have to have a 100-meter round where it occurs, but you have to have a 20-meter buffer around the whole wetland where it occurs. So currently that is the strategy that's approved for all harvesting of leased Crown lands, and pre-harvest assessments are critical. And we will see from year to year whether the buffer is adequate to maintain this rare lichen. If you want to know more about all the other species that have been registered in Nova Scotia, then there's this Species at Risk booklet, and as you can see, each page contains information about the organism, how you can help, how you can distinguish it, etc. The final thing is, remember that it's important to base the decisions strictly on the science, and if you let politics get into science and get science out, then you can see the Endangered Species at Risk Act becomes nonsense. Thank you.